It's Jay. Can you guys hear me? All right, good. It's been a busy weekend. Oh my goodness, my daughter moved back from college, and that's what, 2.5 hours away. So we had to go back and help her move, and then scoot everything out around the house just to have another person. It's been really exhausting, and there's a lot going on here in the language program. All right. So we're trying to still go forward and progress in our sentence structure and our sentences. Like I said, I do things a little different than some of the other Mvhayvs. And I try to go forward, even if we're going at a snail's pace, I still try to maintain going forward and learning something new. Was anybody able to make any sentences from our last class, which was Wednesday? Or Friday, if you guys attended on the evening. All right. Like I said, we're still going through some of our sentence structure. There's a lot out there. Not everybody does things the same. So I'm trying to weed our way through all of the different ways of doing things and teaching. And I'm trying to share with you guys some of the easiest ways that I can think of to help us learn and go forward. So sometimes it seems a little slow, but behind the scenes, you got all of our Mvhayvs, not just one of them, but all of us researching and looking in books and trying to do things the easiest way to show you guys and teach you guys and to learn, because we're all still learning the Mvskoke language and the language structure. All right, yes, okay. So you see right here, the sentence structure, the word order for the Mvskoke sentences may vary. And as you've seen before in the book, if you guys ever looked at the book, it's not all exactly the same. Okay, here we go. You've got this one. I know I've posted. They've got this one. I know a lot of people have. We also have other dictionaries, older dictionaries, other versions of dictionaries, and other references that we look at to help try to navigate through the Mvskoke language as easy as possible. These are some of the notes I had taken in college that was given. So this is one way of doing it. There's other ways. I'm not gonna say but there are other ways to do the sentence structure, and sometimes you'll come across and you're like, wait, I learned it this way. Just know that there's really not a definite in Mvskoke. So, okay, right here, it says word order in the Mvskoke sentences may vary. Subject, noun, a person or thing being discussed, described, or dealt with, person, place, thing, or idea. Object receives the action of the verb. Verb, the action that is being performed by the subject. The verb explains what the subject is doing. Adjective, a word that describes the noun. Adverb, adverbs usually answer the question. Well, it's been a little while since I've been in elementary or learning our grammar, English grammar. So I had to refresh up on all the names of things. I know how things go. I was telling my daughter, I was like, I have got some education behind me, but you just kind of, after using words and sentences, you kind of know how they go without knowing the names of them. So I had to refresh myself on that. And like I said, when I share stuff with you, it's not that I think you don't know this. It's just I forgot. And I've got 50+ years of trying to remember and think about verbs, adverbs, adjectives. So that's why I give this to you. It's not like I don't think you're capable or anything, or I forgot. So I know if I forgot, somebody else has forgotten. So this is not trying to say anything about your education or anything. It's just, I know I forgot, I need my notes. So I'm sharing these with you. All right, the basic Mvskoke sentence structure is subject, object, verb. In some Mvskoke sentences, the T will be added to the subject of the sentence. In some Mvskoke sentences, the N will be added to the subject of the sentence. I went over this with Mvhayv Barnett, and the way I learned was different the way she understood things. So in between our two ways of thinking, I'm trying to, like I said, make it to where everything will mesh and you will understand the Mvskoke language. Hold on. I do apologize. That was my phone. I forgot to mute it. And of course, somebody's trying to sell me something. I'm not eating it. I'm not at dinner, but of course, in the middle of teaching, that's when they decide to call. All right. So on some of these, and like I said, in some of the books, it still is contradictory. This is the way that I was taught in one college, and I went over with Mvhayv Barnett how I was taught at another college, and they didn't mesh. So I'm showing you guys the way that I was taught at the College of Mvskoke Nation. So if you see right here, the subject, Iva, it has a T on it. At the end, it says, in some Mvskoke sentences, the T will be added to the subject of the sentence. So it was Iva, which is dog, and a T was added. And then Bozi, which is cat, an N was added. In some Mvskoke sentences, N will be added to the subject of the sentence. And Asijis, the dog chases the cat. And what I understand, or what Mvhayv Barnett was telling me, was the T in the dog, in Ivat, is the. And the N in Bozi is the cat. So I had learned it a different way. I had learned it that T and the N mean a or an. But like I said, the way I learned at the College of Mvskoke Nation is the T and the N can mean the. So that's how I'm presenting it today. The dog chases the cat. Ivat posen esijas. So if you see the N or the T from what Mvhayv Barnett was telling me, it means the, or it could mean some other things. But in this case, it says the dog chases the cat. And like I said, we're trying to do simple sentences, and we're trying to add on to what we've already learned. Add adjectives and adverbs to build extended sentences. Subject verb is also another form of Mvskoke sentence. These are the really simple ones, and these are the ones that we've gotten to so far. And you see the subject, kibala, is strawberry, base. I am eating. So you see right here, base is a conjugated verb that we have already conjugated. So something easy like a simple sentence right here is kibala base. Strawberry, I am eating. And if you flip it around for English, I am eating strawberry. All right. So these, I did put on the link. I did put the link in the chat for the Google Drive. If anybody needs it again, I will post it again. I'm trying to make sure you guys have access and availability to all these notes and all these things that we're teaching. And as you've seen last time, we had a new set of, all right, you gotta remember, I'm still messing with the Google Drive here. But if you see that we have new infinitives to make new words and to create more of our sentences, we just keep adding on to the simple sentences like kibala base. I am eating a strawberry. And then we can add later on kibala jadi base. I am eating a red strawberry. So these are just simple words and simple sentences that we are using to further expand on our sentence building. All right. See, make sure it's actually, okay, yes. Make sure it's actually on the screen so you guys can see it. I was teaching Friday, and I guess it stopped sharing or something, but I was teaching and they were like, oh, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know where you're at. So I've got my computer over here so I can see that it's actually reflecting what I'm trying to show you guys. All right, so how many of you guys were able to look this over? I know those of you that followed us in module 1, we went over this many times. But like I said, these are in-depth notes that I had taken when I was learning. But since we've already gone over it, for the last module and even the first day. Let me just go over the present tense steps real fast and just follow along on your copy, whether you printed it out or whether it's on the screen right here. All right, so we're conjugating in the present tense, what's happening now. First, you drop the ETV, you elevate the verb stem, you lengthen the final vowel of this verb stem. If the final vowel is a V, change it to an A unless it's followed by MK, NK, or T. If it is, leave a V. The rest of the final vowels get a long mark over it. So you have to remember when we write these or when we do these notes, sometimes the long mark will not show up or we don't know how to get it in some of these. So usually what we'll tell you, oh, this one has a long mark over it. All right, we're learning how to navigate these different documents. You've got a PowerPoint, you've got Canva, you've got Word, and then you got PDFs. So that's kind of a challenge sometimes. And number 3, add the person marker. It's for nothing. And like I said, this is just my placeholder. So I have this as a placeholder, and sometimes I have the open parentheses and closed parentheses as a placeholder. And once we start getting past, probably in module 3, I won't put that so often. But right now we're learning, so I just leave it as a placeholder. And then number 4, add the declarative ending, S or ES. Okay, somebody says, I think I need to take module 1. I've been watching module 1 on YouTube. Widow, good job. If you have any questions, even for module 1, feel free to ask. Feel free to get in there and just type it up or just unmute and ask. I just gave you the link. And that link should let you see everything in module 1, and then you'll see module 2, just go in there, and that's what we're currently on. I'm trying to share with you the link so you can, if you need to backtrack to go forward, it's there. All right. Like I said, this is stuff that we've already gone over. So I just went over it really fast. A lot of it is in module 1. We are still trying to cover it in module 2 because we are still learning how to conjugate. All right. I think I do because I'm lost. All right, well, see, right now, this is the notes. I will show you in a second here, easier way that I break things down more than once, trying to capture everybody so I don't leave anybody behind on what we're doing. So like I said, I like to eat. And I think that's one thing we have in common, all of us have in common, is to eat. So I always like to use Mvhayv as an example, and I'm going even further, but this is the easiest example that I can show at the moment. Right. Yes, just follow with us, even if you are lost. That's how you learn. It'll be in your mind still, even if you don't understand it. And then one of these days you'll be driving or you'll be walking or even trying to go to sleep. Those of you who know how your mind works sometimes, you're trying to go to sleep, you got to get up early the next day, and then your mind, something from Mvskoke will pop in there. And you're like, oh, that makes so much sense. All right, because I know it does to me too. Hang in there. I panicked at first, but it does clear up after a while. All right, good job. Thank you, Mvhayv, Amy. Power of encouragement. Like I said, like last night, for instance, I was trying to go to sleep because I commute. So it's about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours commuting. So today was my commute day. And I was trying to go to sleep and Mvskoke kept popping in my head. I even taught Mvskoke while I was asleep, and then I woke up so tired. So like I said, this will make sense. Just hang with us. All right. These are the steps, but in different formats. So maybe we can capture you in one of these steps. I know writing, the written rules sometimes gets kind of monotonous and tiring. All right, Mvhayv. All right. So Mvhayv, to eat. You drop the ETV to create the verb stem. So like I said, I do it in steps. So you see H-O-M-P. That is our verb stem for our infinitive verb. You lengthen the O because it's the final vowel. In our rules or in our notes, you lengthen the O. Mvhayv. And then you add the person marker, which right now we're talking about I. So I is I in the first person. So we add the person marker I. You add the declarative ending am, are, is. So the S means am, are, is, and it also means a period at the end of the sentence. And like I said, this is how I was taught, so this is how I'm sharing with you guys. So right here, the same thing is broken down, but in a little bit different fashion. So maybe you can understand this a little easy. So HOMP is the verb stem. And this is the exact same thing right here. Right here, you add your declarative ending of the I. This is your person marker because we're talking about I. S, okay, I is the person marker. S is the declarative ending. And so that's signified in green. And it means am, are, is in the period. So now you got home base, home base, home base. From you went to eat home bida to home base. I am eating. So you're going to eat, and now you've conjugated, and this means I am eating. And I know some of those who have been in module 1, this is a refresher, but it doesn't hurt to keep going over the same thing because your mind will retain all of this eventually. Because I know mine did, and I was like, I had to go over it and over it. So you got hombada to eat. You've got your verb stem, HOMP. You add your I for the person marker I, and you add your declarative ending is S. So you got home base. Like I said, this is the same thing in a different format. Home base. Mvskoke translation, home base. And the literal translation, English translation is eating I am. And then the English translation is I am eating. Because they do things backwards. All right. Okay. I'm just kidding. It's not backwards for English, but they like to say Mvskoke's backwards, so I just flipped it today. All right. So this is what let's see if I can find it. All right. So I've got a couple of more broken down to help us understand and go over what we're just now learning. Third person, first person. Okay, like I said, I showed you hombida. Hombida to eat. So now we're going to go litkis. Let's see if I got the wrong one I was going to show. Okay. All right, I did this right before we were getting ready to come on live and on Zoom. So it looks like some things are a little off. But let me go ahead and show you. Litkis. Litkis. Running I am. Mvskoke word. Okay, litkis, because this should have the long E on it. I was not able to put the long E on there. So litkis. Litkis. Mvskoke word litkis. The literal translation to English is running I am, and you flip it around, I am running. So you right here, and I don't have it on this one for some reason, it didn't translate to Google. It didn't move over to Google when I thought I moved it. But see, you right here in the black, you've got this. So right here in the black font is the verb stem. You've got your I, which is the blue part, because we're talking about I, and then you got your declarative ending S, which is am or period, or am, are, and is, depending on which your sentence is. So running I am. So you went from litkida to run to litkis. All right, running I am. I am running. And then that's the first person. And like I said, we're going over the second person. And if you were in module 1, it's is the second person. So it's the second person. On our rules and on our list, I is the first person, it's is the second person, and there's nothing for the third person. So we'll go through that real quick. So taskis, itskis, itskis. I know it's a mouthful, but you can break it down. Task, itskis, itskis. Jumping, you are. And if I had to break down, you can see that the black part of this word is, or sentence, is task, task. So that is your verb stem. The blue is the person marker. So we're talking about you, we're talking about second person. So it's ETSK. It's an ES, you add on to it is R, am, are, is. So jumping you are. So we've got R there. Mvskoke word taskiskis. I know it's a mouthful. Literal translation is jumping you are. And then flip it around and you are jumping. Okay. I've had some conversations with Mvhayv Barnett about that. Is, you know, sometimes the you is not taught because you know what you're doing. You know you're cooking, you know you're cleaning. But I was thinking about if you're teaching a younger one, and you know how you hold your baby's arms and they're jumping and like, oh, you were jumping. That's where I think that would come into play. Or, you know, somebody who's learning, or, oh, you're running, you know. And sometimes you can even say that to, you know, an animal. Oh, you're running. Oh, you're jumping. Oh, you're doing something. And like I said, I wanted to present everything because when you come across this, you will know, even though maybe it might not be used so often, you'll know, okay, I heard that before. Okay, that's what this means. Like I said, we were talking about, do we teach this because it's not used very often? But you know, like I said, I'm teaching my young grandchild, and it's like, oh, you were jumping, or oh, you're eating. You know, it's something like that. That's how I think that we would use some of these things, is when we're teaching or trying to show somebody something. So I still think it's got relevance. Okay, Ligitskis, because that's supposed to be a long E. Ligitskis. Running, you are. You see the black is also the verb stem from our list of things to do. You get your verb stem. There's your verb stem. You've got your you as it, and you got the es. Ligitskis. All right, so running, you are. So you go from Mvskoke Ligitskis, you go from, I just drew blank, I do apologize, from Litkida to Ligitskis. Running, you are, to you are running. And like I said, these little notes help you learn to translate. And once you start to be able to follow the rules, you will be able to translate when you're talking. It gets easier, but a lot of us have to practice by writing it down or by seeing it on paper, and then it'll come to you. Then your mind will automatically go through all of these steps, and you will be able to talk. You'll be able to understand what people are talking about. It just takes practice, and that's why we're breaking everything down and going really slow. So those of you who are like me, who have to keep repetition and repetition, it's going to stick. And those of you who just now joined us for your language journey, this is going to help you too. Like I said, right now it seems like a lot. Amy, reinforce the thought is it's going to sink in. It's going to make sense. All right. So here it is in third person. Litkis. Like I said, it's been a long weekend. Ligits. Pardon me. Litkis. Whew. Goodness gracious. You have to get over that little hump. All right. So running, he is. So you see on these notes, I have the close and open and close parentheses because the third person has no person marker, or I mean not person marker, but person holder right here. You just know if it's L-E-T-K-E-S, it's third person, which means he, she, it, or they. Running, and I put he is. It could be running, she is, running, it is, running, they are. All right. So Litkis, because you got the long E on that. Litkis. I wasn't able to put that on there. Running, he is. It could be running, she is. Running, it is. Running, they are. And then flip it around. He is running, she is running, it is running, they are running. Okay, so you've got your first, second, and third person translations right there. You've got your steps. And what we are trying to do is to try to go a little further. There is a copy of our infinitive verbs that we are using this time. So you can see litkeda, to run. That was the one I translated today, and taskeda, to jump. Did I do taskeda? It's been a long week. It's been a long morning already. So litkeda, nojida, to sleep, legida, to sit, yakabida, to walk, walkida, to lie down, akopaneda. I know I could say this morning, but for some reason when I'm talking right now, it's just like, woo. So I can break it down. Akopaneda. Akopaneda, to play. And then you've got to dance. Opaneda. Opaneda. I'll have the slideshow in a second. And taskeda. For some reason, those two today are giving me a hard time. So let's listen to what the speaker has said.
Nojida, Laigida, Yakabeda, Wakida, Akopaneda, Opaneda, Taskeda.
All right, good job. Does everybody hear that one? Can you hear that one? I can't. Let's see. Give me a thumbs. Okay, Amy, got you. All right, because I know we've been having problems with sharing, Melanie, sharing, but you can hear how she says it. Like I said, for some reason, those two today are just not doing it for me. I couldn't pronounce those so easily, but I did pronounce it earlier before class. But these are our new infinitive verbs. We are going to use that the rest of these 6 weeks to make sentences and to conjugate. So I wanted you guys to be familiar with those. And here's our new vocabulary. I know I presented this last week, but I'm trying to just keep going over some of the same things. So maybe these vocabulary words or these conjugation will stick in your head. I know when I hear the Mvhayvs now, when they speak, my conjugation vocabulary, I mean, and just regular vocabulary expanded, so I can understand more so what they say and how they say it. So I'm trying to expand your vocabulary, and so you can be familiar with these Mvskoke words when you hear them or when you try to use them in a sentence. Okay. Like I said, I know I've said these earlier, but for some reason, my mind's just like a million places. Like I said, I had my daughter, and we moved her today, so I'm just like, okay, trying to make sure that everything is going right. But okay, Togahija, student, Mvhayv, teacher, Alikcha, doctor, Chopova, Adotka, farmer, Mvhayv, chef, Chija, judge, Jogahaya, secretary, Istawanaya, policeman, Dotka Aslij Olgi. She said Aslij Olgi means fireman, but I think the speaker I had put fireman, so I don't think she put the Olgi. Dotka Aslij Olgi, fireman, min, Inokolgi, Afasta, nurse. So let you hear from our first speaker, and like I said, when you get a chance, practice. See, it shows it right here. All right, it's not there. So let me go ahead and for some reason one is working, but not this one today. I will go back on there and reattach, because you see right here, it's got the little speaker there. For some reason, it's not going. But I will put that back on there. Our Google Drive and our one screen are kind of glitchy. I don't know if there's an update or anything, but those are new vocabulary for people. So anybody have any questions right now? Anybody have any questions or comments? Is that starting to make sense? All right.
I do,
So
Maya.
I haven't been able to make new sentences. All right, Mado. Okay. Somebody said, all right. So these are the sentences we used from last time. We were using foods. Like I said, everybody can relate to foods. That's why I always put these out there. But these are how the sentences are breaking down. You see like subkanipki, pork and hominy, yes. So you see that's in first persons because it has the I. Okay, go ahead, Amy. Amy has a question. Go ahead.
Yes, Mahaya. Thank you. I had a question. Well, this is a silly sentence and everything, but in the event that I would actually use it in a subject and
Okay,
verb
Amy,
that was not.
I for some reason cannot hear you today.
Okay.
I
Okay.
apologize.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't know what's going on with the smart screen. I
It's okay.
commute back to Oklahoma City, so like the second part of the week, you have Mahaya Barnett and Mahaya Barnett comes in here. And if there's an issue, sometimes we don't see each other, but I've got to write this down to get it fixed. All right, can you type in your question? Okay, so right now, these are the first person sentences, and as you've seen on our sentence structure, these are simple sentences because you've got your verb at the end. You can see the verbs are conjugated for first person. And the very first part of the sentence is the object, what we're talking about. So subkanipki, yes, I'm making pork and hominy. Kibala nises, I'm buying strawberries. Justagi nises, I am buying eggs. Sadatako nises. Migoja nises, I am buying bacon. Pagana nises, I am buying peaches. Oloso humbes, I am eating rice. Saka puffy humbes, I am eating ham. Aji humbes, I am eating corn. Patko humbes, I am eating grapes. Justale humbes, I am eating watermelon. Yalaha humbes, I am eating orange. Sarafoma humbes, I am eating pear. Okay. It's not saying it today. You see that the yeah, it shows on here that it's attached. I have no idea what's going on. But these are the first person sentences. You can see the is because it's talking about I am doing something, I am doing something. And let's go to the second person. Subkonipki Hayitskis, you are making pork and hominy. Ibala Nizitskis, you are buying strawberries. Kostagi Nizitskis, you are buying eggs. Sadatako Nizitskis, you are buying apples. Mikoja Nizitskis, you are buying bacon. Pagana, Pagana. You see, I get a little excited too. Paganas with the B sound. Pagana Niskis. Niskis. You are buying peaches. Aloso Hombitskis. You are eating rice. Soka Happy Hombitskis. You are eating ham. Aji Hombitskis. You are eating corn. Batko Hombitskis. You are eating grapes. Justale Hombitskis. You are eating watermelon. Yalaha Hombitskis. You are eating grapes. Sardapgoma Hombitskis. You are eating pear. All right, so you can see that second person itsk is in there. So you know when somebody uses itsk in there, it's conjugated to the second person. And these are the sentences that we were using, and I did the same sentences for 1, 2, and 3, so you can see the difference. The only difference is the person marker in these simple sentences that we're making right now. We just did I, this is you. So now we're gonna go to the third person. And let me see, let me just see if this was working. No. All right. And this is the third person. You can see right here between the Y and the E, there's no marker. So you know it's the third person. If it was the first person, it would be I. If it was the second person, it'd be the it's. But since it's the third person, there's no person marker. I took my placeholders out so you can now see what it looks like without my placeholders. So Subkanipki Ayes. Ayes. She is making pork and hominy. It could be he is making pork and hominy. It is making pork and hominy. They are making pork and hominy. But I chose she. These are all the ones I chose today. You can put, you know, he, she, it, or they in any of these and it'll work because this is the same conjugation right here for all of them. Ibala nieces. He is buying strawberries. Or it could be she is buying strawberries. Justagi nieces. They are buying eggs. Just Sadafako nieces. He is buying apples. Mikoja nieces. They are buying bacon. Pagana nieces. He is buying peaches. Aloso hombres. They are eating rice. Sokapapi hombres. She is eating ham. Aji hombres. He is eating corn. Puthko hombres. They are eating grapes. Justly hombres. They are eating watermelon. Yalaha hombres. He is eating an orange. Sadafgoma hombres. She is eating a pear. Let me see if this one, just for some reason, if this one's working. All right. All right, that's not working today either. All right, so that's your first, second, and third sentences. And you can see that right here in our sentence structure, it's the very, very, very simple sentence. We're doing the subject verb, like right here. Kibala home base. Home base. Strawberry I am eating. And flip it around for English. I am eating strawberry. And in Mvskoke, you don't add an S to make it strawberries or an S to anything. You know, if you're eating a strawberry, you humgen 1 strawberry, and 2 strawberry. So you know that there's more than 1 strawberry that you're eating. A lot of things are situational, or sometimes the whole word changes. Like if you're talking about a man, it's man. But if you're talking about, you know, in English, if you're talking about men, it's men. It's a completely different word. So that's what happens a lot of times in our Mvskoke sentences for more than 1. If you, like I said, if you know you're talking about more than 1, sometimes you can just, you know, say the number. Hamgen, hokol, and dochin, and 1, 2, 3. And that's how you know there's more than 1. And grapes, you know, the same way with grapes, hamgen, hokolin, or there's I'm not sure right now, but I think there might be another way to say many grapes. But like I said, we're just trying to do our simple sentences with these infinitive verbs that we're going to conjugate. And like I said, I challenge you guys to reach out and to start trying to conjugate these. And if you run into a problem, feel free to call me, feel free to email me, because this is your language journey that you're trying to understand the language. And a lot of times, I don't say it's homework, but a lot of times when you're trying to learn this, sometimes it takes a little practice, you know, to sit down and conjugate all this. Like I said, when you have done this so many times, when you hear it, you'll know, oh, they're talking about I am eating, he is eating, she is eating. So that's why I'm trying to make it easier for you guys to understand that, you know, how I get to this place. So now you know how we can get to this place to make sentences and to understand the sentences. And like I said, the vocabulary words are the words that we're going to be using for the rest of this six weeks. Same thing with the infinitive verbs. That's what we're going to be using for the rest of the 6 weeks. I'm trying to incorporate some new things than from what we've had for these first 2 weeks to make it a little more interactive and a little bit more exciting, because I know sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, lecture again. You don't have to talk to me about lecture. I've been in some of these college classes where you're just like, so anyway, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to email me, feel free to call me. And I will answer your question. If I don't know, then I will try to find the answer. So that's all we have today, unless anybody has any questions or comments. Does that make sense for everybody? Like I said, I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. I'm trying to break it down so you will see it in more than one way. Now we know from home bida to eat, home base. I am eating, you are eating, we are eating. So now you know what each breakdown of this is, and it's a complete sentence. All right, anybody have any questions? Comments?
So I
Just
kind of
remember, I can't hear you for some reason.
Oh,
Nikki,
okay.
can you type it in the chat? All right, CP says helps out a lot. Mado. I'm trying to make it easy, Nikki. I'm trying to make it easy for you guys. I know it's a long step from English. You learn English to just jump over here after 20, 30, 40 years of only speaking and hearing English. It's hard to switch to Mvskoke brain, but we can do it. Like I said, I try to share with you guys little tips that help me to remember Mvskoke. And the funny thing is, like I said, I was teaching again last night in my dream. And I woke up, had to drive, and now here I am teaching. So I'm kind of like, woo, I already did this once. I know some of you guys know what I'm talking about. You're at work and you're dreaming, and then you wake up and you're like, dang, now I gotta go to work. All right, Renee, but out for your tips. All right. Missing a few days. If I can make Friday in person, I can get lessons printed out so I can study. Yes, Friday we do have in person in Oklahoma City. Plus it's Monday. Yes. CP, it is Monday. It's one of those days. Just, you know how we have a lot going on, but I really enjoy my time speaking with you guys and trying to teach the easiest way that I can teach. And it's really difficult learning because there are so many different ways that people have learned and taught. And Memorial Day, yes, we will not have a class on Memorial Day because we'll be off as well. But I'm trying to, like I said, make it as easy as I can. I've learned a few different ways, and I talked to the Mvhayvs, and I'm trying to make it easy so you guys will be speakers, and then you guys can teach your children or your grandchildren. We can have more speakers in our nations, you know. Monday in person. No, on Fridays only. It's in person at the Oklahoma City Resource Center in Oklahoma City off of Lincoln Boulevard. That's the only one that I have in person. There is another one in person for Mvhayv Barnett, and that is at the College of Mvskoke Nation here in Okmulgee. And that one is here. And I know that the Mvhayvs are trying to go to different community centers to be in person. I know Okmulgee, Mvhayv Gracine also went to that. And she's teaching what I think she said there was 10 ladies in there last week, but there are some in place in person ones that are trying to come up. If you can make it, that looks good in our numbers. So more than likely we can have more of them. But I also encourage you, if you get a chance, just to watch the ones online, because sometimes something's that said in one place is something different is said in another place, and you'll get more information. All right. My dad has been speaking Creek with me in sentences. I keep having him repeat. Do it. I mean, sometimes I'm like, can you say that again? Can you slow it down? You know, I feel like a toddler. What did you say, Mom? What did you say, Mom? Can you say it again? But, you know, like I said, the Mvhayvs are good for helping. If you guys have any questions, I'm still learning, but if I don't have the answer, I'll try to get the answer to you. But I am enjoying my time speaking with you guys and teaching and learning at the same time. One of the things that I did learn was for Hadam Chihichaklis, that's talking to one person, and Hadam Chihichaklis is talking to everyone. So I learned that because I learned in in my times, going all the different places, I just had said, Hadam Tihichaplis. I didn't realize it was just one person, but for many it's Hadam Tihichaplis. So if I'm talking to a whole group of people, Hadam Tihichaplis. All right, Hado, I really enjoy our time, and if you have any questions, just call me, email, call the front desk. We'll help you guys out. We're trying to get more speakers, more learners. All right, Mache. All right. So no questions. I will see you again Wednesday. I will have more things, new things this time. Like I said, some of these things that I put on there at the last minute, it's just not catching in Google Drive. But you guys have the Google Drive now, so you can go back to module 1, check out some of the things that we've already done and covered. And then if you have to, you can go back over module 2 stuff and feel like you're caught up. All right, Mado. I'll say it again. Hadam Tihichagakles.